गं गणपतये नमः। ॐ सरस्वत्यै नमः। ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। अखण्डमण्डलाकारं व्याप्तं येन चराचरम् तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। Let us take in Shiva Shakti in 5 deep breaths. Shiva Shakti Om. 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 Ati madhura chapahastam aparimitam modabana saubhagyam arunam atishaya karunam abhinavakula sundari vande. Hakaratha hamsagati Hataka bharanojjvala hara harikucha bhoga Hakini Halya varjita haritpati samaradhya hathatkara hatasura harshaprada havirbhoktri Harta santamasapaha Halli salasya santushta Hamsa Mantra artharupini Hanopadana nirmukta Harshini Harisodari Ha ha hu hu mukhastutya Hani vruddhi vivarjita Hayyangavina hridaya Hari Goparunam Shuka. So we will be moving on to the next Nama. Hataka Bharano Jwala. Hataka Bharana Ujjwala. One who is shining brilliantly as though she is wearing the golden ornaments throughout her body, throughout her form. Hataka means gold. Ujjwala, which is very brilliant. And she is looking brilliant with that hue, golden hue, which is arising from her form. Because it is in such a beautiful way, it looks as though from head to her toe, she is ornamented with all gold. What can we understand by this? A sadhaka or a devotee, when they are having the vision, the very first thing they see is the bright light. It will be very bright and it looks as though it is a golden disc. Hiranmayena patrena, that Upanishad line which says the Satya, the eternal truth, is hidden behind this golden hue, the golden light. Oh, Pushna, take out that lid like disc which is covering the truth, the eternal truth, which is Brahman. In the same way, in Narayaniyam, Bhattatiri had the vision. First, it was like the golden fire-like bunch of flowers, Kalavali. He could see that bright light. And as he kept piercingly concentrate and go deep into it, he was able to see the beautiful form of young adult Krishna and many other visions along with Krishna. But it was the bright light. In the same way, Devi also makes her presence known to the devotee, to the sadhaka, through that bright form which looks totally ornamented. In Chandogya Upanishad, it says, in that rays of Surya, the sun, one can see the golden figure with golden eyebrows and also the golden nails as well. To that extent, it is very clear in Surya. And that kind of brightness is possible only to the Brahman who is giving that light to Surya to shine like. And in Kathopanishad, again it says, in the presence of Brahman as the light of consciousness, sun will not shine, moon will not shine, the stars will not shine, even the lightning will not shine. They all shine following the light of that Brahman. Because it is the Brahman who is giving the light to all these luminaries. That Brahman is Devi. Hataka Bharano Jwala. And Hara Hari Kucha Bhoga. The next Nama. Hara Hari Kucha Bhoga. The jewel, the pearl necklace which she is wearing around her neck. Hara. Hari. It is alluring. It is attracting. Kucha Bhoga. Being on the chest, which is curved. Bhoga. It has two meanings. One is curved and another one is enjoyment, the delight, the pleasure. So let us see in what way we can understand this Hara Hari Kucha Bhoga. So she is alluring the mind by wearing the hara. It is in such a way that because her breasts are curved, that means it is fully blossomed, because she is going through the sthiti of the whole universe as mother who is feeding the whole universe. So when she is wearing that pearl necklace, it is naturally bent. Because the hara is bent, it is indicating that it is mother who is nursing the whole universe with nutrition to the physical present, physical, emotional and spiritual aspects of all beings, jivas. That is one understanding. Kucha Bhoga Hari, she is alluring and giving the pleasure to whom? Firstly, it is to Shiva. Shiva is pure consciousness all the time. To create this universe with multiplicity, she certainly needs the cooperation, help, and involvement in the action of Srishti, Sthiti, Laya, Tirodhana, Anugraha. She needs Shiva. So she's alluring him to get involved in the creation, because of which may I become many. And thus, he also started involving in the work of this universe. She allures that consciousness, Shiva, to such an extent that he's not only may I become, that is, he is seeing so many reflection of his own self. He is seeing that many multiplicity in the mind, which is universal mind. And he is also becoming one with that Jivatmas as well. So it is giving the hint that there is only one Brahman, Shiva, the pure consciousness, who is allured by Devi, and make him get involved in the creation of the universe. And also for the sthiti, she is making him pierce through, pervade all the living beings, which are jivatmas. And thus, Paramatma is very much there in every being, in every jiva. That is, his presence is there. So, this nama, Hara Hari Kucha Bhoga, if one meditates on this, it takes us deep into knowing that Shiva is very much within me as Jiva. Because Devi has Hari, she has already allured him to be involved in the world, in the universe, in Jagat, in Vishwa. And thus, his presence is felt every moment, in every action, in every way. Hakini, another very powerful nama of Devi, Hakini. Hakini is the one who snaps the chain of samsara. She is in the form of demoness, Hakini. And she annihilates all the sinners in the universe, Hakini. When it is in the individual, according to Kundalini Yoga, Hakini is the deity of bone marrow, Majja. And she is white in color with 6 faces residing in Agnya Chakra, which is Manas Tattva. She is the one who is holding the Manas. And she also takes in the food prepared with turmeric. This we have studied in Lalita Sahasranama. And because she is very much the deity, presiding deity in Agnya Chakra, she is the one who opens the mind to go to the higher realms and go until the destination, which is moksha, liberation from the shackles of this samsara. So she is moksha prada as well, Hakini. The very thing here it says is practically even we would have experienced it. The diamond can be cut by another piece of diamond. The thorn, which is like the pricking pin, that can be taken out with another needle. In the same way, Hakini is in the form of demoness, taking out the sins, taking out all the negativities from the seekers, devotees, and the jivatmas, and to make them come out of the bindings of the mind, which is projecting unreal as the real and real as unreal. So she has chosen that path as Hakini. Even in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, one who fixes his consciousness at Agnya Chakra is sure to reach me. That is liberation. He also gives importance for that presence of Hakini here in the Agnya. Halya Varjita. Halya is blemishes or ugliness. She is the one who is away from any evil thoughts. There is no negativity. Halya Varjita. That means she is Ahalya. Without any blemishes. She is perfect. When there is no blemishes, fault, or limitation, lacking, she is also Paripurna. Halya Varjita. This Halya is possible to be there only in the mind, which is illusionarily working, which is deluded with ignorance. That is Jivatmas. So only Jivatmas go through the state of Halya, being blemishful. But she is not. Another meaning of Halya is to be plowed, to be tilled, to be channelized. Flow. Hala. Halya. Hala is the plow instrument. Halya is to be plowed or to be tilled. When she is perfect, she need not go through that. So she is Halya Varjita. She need not be plowed or tilled. It is the Jivatma who has to be plowed, tilled. That he does through the law, following the law of karma. Through karma only, he has to be plowed and tilled. But Devi is Halya Varjita. She is Purna. Harit Pati Samaradhya. Harit Pati is the deity of the directions. Harit Pati, Cardinal Deities. The leader of all these Harit Patis are Indra. Samaradhya. She is worshipped, adored, and respected by the cardinal deities. Who are all they? Indra as the leader, Agni, Yama, Nirutti, Vayu, Varuna, Kubera, and Isha. So, all these directions are having each deity who are taking care of these directions. And they have different level of energies and different kinds of energy as well. So accordingly, they are protecting. And as the need comes, they all give their helping hand to Devi. So even this Vastu Shastra depends and give lots of importance for these cardinal deities, the deities of the directions, Dikpalakas, as Devatas. So even for meditation, they say, one has to sit in the eastern facing east, because east is belonging to Indra, who has the capacity to bestow the energy and the consciousness to go in the spiritual path. Whereas Nirutti, the southwest, is not a good direction because the energy level there is very, very low. Even in north, when we are facing north, even there, we are getting lots of energy, especially to the spiritual path. Hatatkara Hatasura. Hatatkara Hatasura. Asura are the demons, the negative forces, evils. Hatatkara, that is very quickly, at once, forcefully, vigorously. Hata, she kills them, she destroys them. The very characteristic of demon is they get their negative energy very quickly. Their potential energy becomes heightened very quickly, very fast, within short time. In the same way, their energy will also go down very quickly and very intensely. So their rise and fall is very quick. So Devi is working on them in such a way that they keep doing the bad, negative things as much as possible with quickness. At the same time, she makes them fall also with the same quickness to keep the balance of good and bad in the universe. And when we take the good people or people who are adhering to Dharma, they progress slowly, but there is no return back. They keep going up all the time. There is no fall back. Slow, but it is steady. When we take it in Jivatmas, individually, these demons in the form of Arishad Varga, if you see, for example, Kopa, the anger, how fast it grows. It is demonic quality, all the Arishad Vargas. So even for that, she takes care by helping the seeker and the devotees to come out of that hold of the Arishad Vargas and negative thoughts, evil thoughts, by putting a firm break to it. She destroys that. How? Hatatkara, at once. So surrendering to Devi is the key. If I take one step, she takes another 10 steps towards me to pull me up. So I have to do that first move with my first step towards her. Then she takes care. Hatatkara, Hata Asura, Harshaprada. So she has taken out all the negativity. Now she is Harshaprada, one who bestows the happiness, joy, the different hues, different levels, intensities of bliss. Harshaprada. At every stage of life, at every stage of worship, she gives that harsha. Isn't it? Even when we do that external worship, puja, vrata, when we accomplish it, how happy we all will be. In the same way, when we start going one step ahead and give the total mind involvement into what I am doing as puja or worship, that joy increases in its intensity. And when I'm doing the japa, the repetition of her namas, it transports me to different realm of Devi. And that joy is much more stronger and intense, of different kind. And as I keep meditating on her, the mind will be filled with so much of happiness. Harsha Prada, she is that. So we can understand that she takes away that duality from the devotees and seekers. Once we surrender to her, recognize her presence in me, the same Devi is there in everyone, everywhere. That jnana she gives once we surrender to her. So slowly, the thoughts of duality will diminish and it goes. Even in worship, it happens. We being brought up with so many different kinds of deities, we will be doing puja and depending on different gods. But slowly, she takes away the mind from wandering, and she gives the knowledge to stick on to one Ishtadeva and keep meditating, doing japa, doing all the thoughts or actions around that Ishtadeva. That is the time when one can realize that, yes, I am the one who is going towards Devi or Shiva, Krishna, whatever it is, Brahman. And she gives joy even at that level. And she gives the taste of bliss, what it is to be non-dual, becoming one with Devi and feeling that I am the Devi, the bliss. So she's there to give it different ranges. Havir Bhoktri. She is the one who enjoys the oblations offered during yaga, yajna, homa. So when we offer the oblations, she is the receiver. When Devi receives, all gods will be so happy. Even though we are offering the oblations to different deities, it is Devi who is receiving that offer through these deities. Because all these deities are also within her own. It is like in a family, there are grandparents and then parents and the children, like grandchildren. If anyone does good thing to the grandchild, both the parents and the grandparents feel the joy as though they themselves are getting pampered like the grandchildren. Because the grandparents know that parents belong to them. Parents are part of the grandparents. The grandchildren are part of the grandparents. That happiness is carried all the way. Like that, Adi Parashakti, Mahatripura Sundari, is the one who is actually enjoying all the oblations offered in the yaga yajnas. Another thing we have to know is, while doing the yaga or yajna, we say swaha at the ending or swadha. Swaha is when we are appeasing, worshipping, and invoking the deities. We say swaha. Swadha is said when we are appeasing or invoking the pitrus, the ancestors. So in both the cases, Devi is the one who is receiving that oblation. And another meaning is Swaha Swadha, are the wives of Agni Deva, who is the one who is carrying the offerings as oblations. Vishnu is Yajna. In Bhagavad Gita, we have studied in detail. Yajno vai Vishnu. Yajna is Vishnu. Vishnu is Yajna. How? In what way we can understand? The whole Vishwa, it's working. The very sthiti of the whole Vishwa is happening in the form of Yajna, which is started by that Vishnu. So it is Vishnu who is offering, and he is the one who is instruments used in the Yajna. And it is taking place in such a huge way. So she being the sister of Vishnu, Kamakala, she takes the oblations even in that way. She is connected with Vishnu as the whole universe being involved in that yajna. So she's very much in that. Harda san tamasapaha. Harda, that is in the heart. Sun, which is there potentially, it is existing. Tamas is that darkness, ignorance, which is also causing the turmoil, sorrow. Apaha, she takes away that. She fully destroys that tamas, ignorance, which is there in the heart of the devotees and the seekers. In Kathopanishad, it says, Brahman as Atma is there in the size of the thumb in the center of the body. So it is Devi who is in the form of Atma, Sat Chit Ananda, Atma. Because of her presence, she is able to take away the tamas, ignorance, that darkness which is present in the devotees and the seekers when they turn their anthakarana towards Atma, which is Devi. Does it mean that she takes away the tamas of each and everyone, all the beings? For that we get the answer in Lalita Sahasranama, Nakadhititi Sanchanna Namajjana Tamoguna. She takes away that darkness, Tamoguna, from people who surrender to her. Namajjana. People who bow down to her. That means who surrender to her. Because they are surrendering to her feet, the ray of consciousness which is emitting from the nails of her toes, that tamoguna is gone. Nakhaditi sanchanna namajjana tamu. So, when we understand both of these, Hardha Santamat Sapaha and Nakaditi Sanchanna Namajjana Tamoguna, we can understand surrendering to Devi is the key. Surrendering to her. Physically, we can start doing it by doing the namaskaras again and again. Danda pranama. While doing that, slowly when we start putting our mind, I surrender to you. I don't have any more energy as I am, the false I. We start becoming surrendering to her gradually, physically, mentally. And then she gives the knowledge to surrender to her, even intellectually, and that false I totally, where we can become zero. Zero down our mano, buddhi, ahankara, chitta by surrendering to her totally. That is namana, that is namaskara, that is danda pranama. I'm able to stand up only when that energy and I am is there. When both are gone, we just lay flat, like when we are sleeping. There is no aham. There is no energy to stand up through the body because body and mind have switched off their work. So like that, it zeroes down. That is what namana is. Like that, when we surrender, Hardasam tamasapaha, she takes care of without faith. Krishna also says, by entering into them, I take away the darkness from their heart. So surrender, surrender. Even for that, one should have done the Krita Punya, according to Saundarya first shloka. Hallisa lasya santushta. Hallisa lasya. Hallisa is a kind of singing with joy. Lasya is also dancing with joy. And she is happy with that. Santushta. She is extremely happy with singing and dancing offered to her by all the devotees and the seekers. How does it work? What is it? Any singing and any dancing is the result of the reaction of feeling extreme joy within, isn't it? Because the mind, heart, the being is so joyful, they feel like singing, they feel like dancing. By seeing this, she is so happy because she knows all the persons, all the devotees and seekers who are all joyously singing and dancing are involved in the actions what they are doing with joy, surrendering to her. another understanding is singing and dancing is connected with the physical world, isn't it? Because this body and mind are joyously working, there is dance and singing, dancing and singing. So it is a kind of pleasure or the experience through body and the mind. And Devi is present in all those singers and dancers as Atma. So she is giving the energy, Shakti, and also she is giving the light of consciousness for them to sing and dance. That means she's making them involved in the world, in experiencing the world with joy. She is happy to give Shiva Shakti, that consciousness and the energy to all this. By that, she is Santushta in the form of dancers and the singers who are enjoying. Because it is involved in this physical world, dancing and singing. Is it wrong? Is it not acceptable? How does it work? Is it against the spirituality? No. Even though singing and dancing is giving pleasure, pleasure is very much part and parcel of this physical world. It is part and parcel. There cannot be the physical world without the pleasures. There cannot be pleasure unless it is connected with the physical world. So we cannot, it is like a shasana, like the principle of this physical world. That is how it is working. That is how the illusion is making us, Maya is making us getting pinned in this world. So when it is part and parcel of physical world, it is our duty to just follow what it is. So taking pleasure in singing and dancing or through the five senses is not sinful. But when we become obsessed with it or making it as possession, attachment to it, that is when it is working as obstacles for our spiritual growth. Otherwise, it gives us more energy singing and dancing in praise of Devi. When we start doing that, it gives more energy for us to go in that path to devotion, to seeking. The mind becomes more meditative. But it should not become an obsessed thing or too much attachment to it. That is wrong. That is when it is put down. Not getting addicted, but know that dancing and singing is possible because of the whole universe is there. Me being part of that universe, everything is nothing but the Leela of Shiva Shakti. Everything is the game of Shiva Shakti. There's nothing for me to do anything in this. So with that understanding, if we are able to get into the world, it will be joyous and we will be feeling the happiness of Halisa Lasya Santushta, that Devi who is happily present in every being and enjoy. And tantric rituals also take this Halisa Lasya Santushta. It is the pleasure as part and parcel of their worship also, because they are including that also as the presence of Shiva Shakti in these actions. So we have to understand how Tantra Shastra is using all the actions, all pleasurable actions, also as part of the worship, by knowing, by feeling, by experiencing that Shiva Shakti is present in every action and thought. So, Tantra Shastra gives us a chance to go through Iha, this life, also in a very spiritual way. Hamsa Mantrartha Rupini, Hamsa Mantrartha Rupini, Hamsa Mantra. She is the very meaning, goal, purpose, the very understanding of what Hamsa Mantra is. She is in that form. She is the form and the meaning of Hamsa Mantra. So, this Hamsa Mantra is connected with Shiva Shakti in the breathing, inhalation and exhalation. To understand that better, we have to understand Amnaya. So I will explain what Amnaya is. Because Hamsa Mantra is one of the highest form of mantra, which is also called Sri Para Prasada. Hamsa Mantra is called that. Para is supreme. Prasada is the formless Shiva in his glory. Got the point? So this Hamsa Mantra is able to give us the experience of that Shiva, the glory of Shiva without his form. That is Nirakara Nirguna Shiva as pure consciousness. To understand the depth of this Hamsa Mantra, we have to know what that Amnaya is. Do you remember in Saundarya Lahari we have studied Sudha Dhara Saraihi Charana Yugalantar Vigalitaihi Prapancham Sinchanti Punarapi Rasamnaya Mahasaha. Rasamnaya Mahasaha. Amnaya. So Amnaya is sacred tradition or the sacred doctrines of Tantra Shastra. Amnaya, which are like the path towards liberation. There are so many Amnayas, so many doctrines. Among them, 5 are very, very famous. And they are corresponding with 5 faces of Shiva. Amnaya. So, that Amnaya, the 5 faces of Shiva, are in 4 directions: east, south, west, and north. And another one upward. So it is called Purva Amnaya, Dakshinamnaya, Paschimam Amnaya, and then Uttaramnaya. The 5th one is Urdhvamnaya, where Shiva is facing upward. So here, when we look at the Purva in that direction, Purvamnaya, one who follows that doctrine, they are following creation, Srishti, as the path. They will be studying, going deep into what this Srishti is, what this creation is. Creation, everything about creation. Because creation is the one which is helping for the sthiti as well. And then annihilation as well. Tirodhana as well. Anugraha as well. So, if one goes in that path, Amnaya, it is the path of mantra. They follow that with Rigveda. And when they come to south, it is sustenance, sthiti. It is part of devotion. It is the path which is telling us about the sthiti. And devotion is the path. When we go into the Paschimamnaya, it is the path of destruction, where the law of karma is followed. There the destruction is the destruction of the duality itself. So it is taking the seeker in that manner by studying, going deep into what destruction is. The north, as we keep going, Uttaramnaya, it is Anugraha, the grace, where it follows the path of Jnana. So it is south Yajurveda and Paschima, it is Samaveda. Uttara, it would be Atharva Veda. And each Amnaya, all the four, have goddesses connected with them. So when they worship the corresponding goddess in each, they bestow them. They give the knowledge in that direction. So like that, Urdhvamnaya, there is no goddess or anything. It is Shiva himself. It is the absolute form of Shiva in his glory. And it is Upanishad which is followed here. We can say, once we go in this path, it leads us with the help of the Upanishads. And Shiva himself in his glory is the God for this Urdhvamnaya. Apart from these five, there is one more which is very, very secretive. Which is Ishamnaya or Anuttaramnaya. Anuttara means the highest, where Paramashiva is the one who will be experienced. Aham Brahmasmi. He is experienced in this. Because it is beyond human comprehension, it is kept very secretive. Secretive in the sense, only people who are ready to get into that state will be taught. All these amnayas are taught by the gurus. Especially when we talk about Urdhvamnaya, they say even to utter the name or even to think about, I want to go in this path, is possible only if the seeker is having the last janma without any karmic account to be fulfilled anymore. So even getting initiated into this, that initiation itself is guaranteeing that seeker to get liberated and become Shiva. So it is that great, that Urdhva Amnaya, that tradition, that doctrine which they follow in this. And because it is of that quality, it is important that it is initiated by a competent guru. When it comes to Sri Vidya, people who are initiated into Panchadashi Mantra, they use all the 4 Amnayas. And Shiva says, whoever is following even one Amnaya is able to reach the liberation. But through Panchadashi Mantra, knowing all the 4 Amnayas, that seeker will become Shiva himself. Shiva Jnana Pradayini. That is where the secret lies. People who are initiated into Shodashi and Mahashodashi, they follow all the 6 Amnayas. And they say again, that is possible only if that is the last Janma which the seeker is going through. So this is about Amnaya. Now coming back to that Hamsa Mantra, here we can understand in Urdhva Amnaya, there are no goddesses or no mantra or anything. Just the breathing, ajapa japa. If one is studying that, that itself is giving them the liberation and giving them the experience of being Shiva. So it is called Sri Para Prasada, this Hamsa Mantra, because it belongs to that Urdhva Amnaya. So how does it work? Hamsa. With inhalation and exhalation. Hum. Ha is Shiva. Sa is Shakti. In the middle is that That is I am. I am. So it gives, it combines, it knots, ties up both Shiva and Shakti as I am. Ha, sa, that I am Shiva Shakti. I am Shiva Shakti. I am Shiva Shakti. That keeps reverberating as we keep breathing consciously. Gives the experience and becoming that Shiva. So even this has to be initiated. Once Hamsa Mantra Japa is started, again, he realizes that he is Shiva. That is why I said so much about the Amnayas. Now we know the depth of what that Hamsa Ajapa Japa. This Ajapa Japa is going on in every one of us, but we are not aware of it all the time. But Urdhva Amnaya teaches us, give us the experience, guidance, how to do it. Hanopadana nirmukta. Hani upadana, Hana upadana, Hanopadana nirmukta. One who is free from requirements and non-requirements, benefit and loss. Hana is the loss or abandonment, leaving something which is required. Nirmukta, she is not bound by any of this duality, because she is the one who is creating duality, benefit and loss, gain and loss, likes and dislikes, wants and don't wants. She is the one who is creating it, and it is the Jivatmas who are going through, but she is not involved in it. She is nirmukta, even though she is present in every being, Jivatma, as Atma. She is the one who is giving them the experience of dualities, but she is not involved in it. So this Maya, what we call it as illusion, it is nothing but the power of Brahman. That Brahman as Atma, Devi, who is sitting, is showing her power, illusory power, by making the Jivatmas feel through their mind the dualities. But she is not involved. Harshini, one who is rejoicing, delighting. Harshini. She is Chit Ananda Rupini. So when bliss is her innate nature, she is expressing it all the time. All the time. Because of which she is called Harshini. If we look at it, in the devotees or the seekers, she gives that experience and awareness that Devi has come, Devi has entered me. At every level of our connection with her, with the worship, we see physically also changes coming to the devotee or the seeker. We feel the changes. And even with the situation around in our life, when Devi has come in our life, in our own awareness, even the situation in life also changes. The people around us also, they change. So everywhere the hue of happiness, joy will be there in every level. So even for toddlers, beginners who are in the spiritual path, even they will be feeling the presence of Devi, coming of Devi. How? Through unknown kind of joy. the happiness. Because she is Harshini. Harshini. That Harshini is there in every being, every Jivatma, throughout the universe. Because she is Satchit Ananda. She is there. Only when we surrender our Anthakarana, Mano, Buddhi, Ahankara, Chitta to Devi, she clears of the duality, the thoughts of duality, and she takes away the veil of ignorance. And we start seeing the presence of her in the whole surrounding of our life, in every situation, in every person we come across. The joy will be there. So that is when we can know Devi has entered me. Devi has entered my life. Harshini. Because she is Harshini. She is the embodiment, the treasure house of Harsha, the bliss. See, without surrendering to her totally, how much we are missing. And we are given 100 years to live with this body and the Anthakarana. But how much we are losing without surrendering to her, without making her as part of me. So let us pray that she gives us the buddhi to surrender to her. Let her invoke that thought in us to surrender to her, to know that everything is happening, every action and every thought is nothing but Shiva Shakti, Shiva Shakti, Harshini. Hari Sodari, she is the sister of Hari, that is Vishnu. One Puranic, it is not story, the Puranic establishment that she is the sister of Krishna. Because even in Devi Mahatmyam, she says, I'm going to be born as the daughter of Yashoda. She herself says in Devi Mahatmyam. That is one thing. When we take the understanding of the whole universe, Sthiti is possible because Vishnu and Shakti as Kamakala and Vishnu are working constantly with one another. Maybe I will remind you once again. Brahman is divided into two parts. Brahman, for our understanding. Dharma is the innate nature, the quality, righteousness, which is prevailing. In Brahman, the other part as Dharmi. He is the one who is holding, bearing, upholding Dharma. How is he doing that? Being Dharmi. How is he holding that Dharma? He is taking two different forms from Dharma. One is as Shakti, Kamakala, who is the counterpart of Shiva, consciousness. And another part is Vishnu, the male form. So as male form of Devi, Vishnu is there. As female form of Vishnu is Shakti. So in that way, both of them are Sodara, Sodari. Means they have taken birth from the same one Brahman. Just for the sake of taking care of the sthiti. Asakahala Preem sthiti. They are in that form. As Dharma, who is held by Dharmi, that is Brahm. Nirakara Nirguna Brahm. Ha ha hu hu mukhastutya. One who is praised face to face with ha ha hu hu. These are all the exclamatory expressions which we show in all the stotras. Isn't it? Stotras are different namas, adjectives, which are describing the extraordinary glories of Devi. So each nama is like a PhD thesis. The word is world by its own. To that extent, it is having meaning in it, experience in nama. So when we are saying the stotra, it means, oh, you are this. My goodness, you are that. Oh, ah, ooh. So it's all exclamatory because it is beyond our humanly understanding. It's too great, too much. So with awesome, we are describing her by saying ha ha, hu, mukhastutya, one who is praised like that. When it comes to the stotras and other things. Another meaning is ha, ha. In this Panchadashi mantra itself, we see there is a repetition of some of the bijaksharas, but the meaning would change according to where it is placed in the mantra. The meaning changes. In the same way, ha, ha, who are bijaksharas which are having tons and tons of energy within themselves. They're all great bijaksharas. With those bijaksharas, we are trying to see mukataha, face to face. And when we see her through those bijaksharas, won't we praise her? Won't the mind say, wow, that is what it is. Aha, hu, mukhastutya. And also, another meaning is, aha and hu are two different Gandharvas. They praise Devi like anything. They are the great devotees of Devi. So they do the Mukhastuti of Devi. Hani Vriddhi Vivarjita. Hani Vriddhi, decay or death. Vriddhi, growth. Vivarjita, she doesn't have. So this growth, decay, all these things in connection with the karma. The law of karma applies to the jivatmas who go through the different stages. Balya, Kaumara, and Yavana, Vriddha, Mrityu. It is the jivatmas connected with the body, the mind, and karma which they would have done. Accordingly, they will be going through this Hani and Vriddhi. But she is not connected with it. She is Nishkriya. She is just there. She is present as pure consciousness, which is activated. So she's just activated consciousness, Shiva Shakti, whose presence is making all the Jivatmas to go through the different stages in their lives, many births as well. No doubt, she is also called as Nishkriya, is one name. Another one is she's kinetic energy as Vimarsha, isn't it? We have studied about Devi as Vimarsha Shakti. Vimarsha is actively involved as discriminatory possibility in this physical world. But even there, she is retaining her activated consciousness state. Her form is that. Because of her presence, the mind and the intellect is working as Vimarsha. So, she is like the main switch giving the electricity. The appliances are with. Hayanga Veena Hridaya. Hayanga Veena Hridaya. Her heart melts like butter. Hayanga Veena Hridaya. So, Hayanga Veena, the butter which is so soft and melts with even little bit difference in the temperature. It is that soft. And her Hridaya is like that. How and why? She being the activated consciousness, Brahman. Her way of working, her way of interacting is very motherly. Love and compassion is her way of dealing with the whole universe. That love and compassion, guiding, keeping the strict what shall I say, strict control, yet being very loving and compassionate towards the whole universe. Is very motherly nature, Sri Mata. Because of that, her love towards all beings is very, very soft. Hayanga Veena Hridaya. Because of that, if we surrender to her, our action of surrendering to her itself makes her just melt her Hridaya, her heart. And that is why Devi worshipping is quick in its result, and it is easy to become one with her. So our job as devotee and sadhaka is to become one with her. How is it possible? By surrendering to her as a child surrenders to mother. We should become that 2-month-old baby or 3-month-old baby, not even 6 or 7-month-old baby, because we would start using our own aham. But if it is 2 or 3 months, even 4 months baby, that is how the mind should be towards Devi. You are the one who is going to take care of it fully. If that surrender is there with childlike perception, all the more she melts to lift us in her lap. Hari Gopa Runam Shuka. Hari Gopa, it's a kind of red insect. That red is beautiful, velvety, and it is shining. It's a beautiful red. Hari Gopa Aruna, that red Amshuka, even her garment is red. That means she is surrounded by, she is veiled by that Aruna, the redness, which is very, very beautiful, velvety, soft, like that insect Harigopa. That means she is with lots of Rajoguna in her to take care of creation she has done, and then Sthiti. So she is using all her energy in taking care of Sthiti. Not only that, the compassion of mother, Arunam Karuna Tarangitakshim, in the Dhyana Shloka of Lalita Sahasranama, that Karuna in her is making her whole form to reflect the red color, which is very attractive, not harsh to the eyes, but very attractive, soothing, very pleasing, and it gives joy. It gives more energy because Hari Gopa Runam Shuka. We are feeling both the compassion of Devi plus the energy which she is emitting to take care of the sthiti, sustenance of the whole universe. So the next one is Lakara. Lakarakhya. Akhya means the name, signify, and then form, and also declare. These are all the different meanings of Akhya. Lakarakhya. She is known by that name, La. La is the Bijakshara for Indra and also Kshiti, the earth. So here, when we take it, Tripura Upanishad definitely says that La represents Indra. So Devi is working through Indra to take care of the sustenance with his capacity and ability. So Indra is serving Devi. That is possible because Indra, according to Sri Shakti Mahimna, he is the one who gives the wealth, Vasudha. He is not only giving the Vasudha, the material wealth, he has many other connections and capacities. Indra is also the eldest among the Maruts, the young, strong warriors, Maruts, who are connected with Rudras as well. So these Maruts are the ones who are taking care of the sins and the punya in the whole universe. And they are residing in the higher atmosphere, and from there they are keeping an eye on the whole universe. So these maruts are taking care of especially the people who are dharma oriented, spiritual oriented. So for that maruts, Indra is the eldest leader. And then Indra is also corresponding to air, Vayu. And he is the one who is playing an important role in acquiring knowledge and causing bliss is also science. And he is the one who gives the wealth of spirituality as well. He has the capacity to take the seeker to the extent of moksha, because he is the greatest devotee of Devi. Rane Jitva Daityan. Even in that we come across. In Saundarya Lahari, many of the mantras are devoted to Devi in connection with Indra. And even in Vedas, Indra is referred very often. Even in this Panchadashi mantra, we come across Indra's presence in all the three. So, Lakarakya and La, as I said, it comes in all the three lines, Srishti, Sthiti, Laya. But in each one, we can see that in the first line, Srishti, we see that La takes care of the seeker, aspirant, to fight against the influence of the material pleasures. The first line in that La is taking care of the aspirant not to budge into the influence of the pleasures of the worldly objects. Probably most of you would have already experienced that. Once we fall into this path, slowly we come out of the attraction towards the pleasures. And in the sthiti, the second line, when that law comes, it enforces the aspirant to go with more zeal towards moksha, liberation. The mind runs towards it. Nothing else starts attracting. And in the third one, which we have not studied yet, in that law makes the aspirant to become more towards liberation, that he will have the taste of what that liberation is. It is like taking him to the doors of liberation. So that is how it works. La, for which Indra and Kshiti, the earth, are connected. Shiva Shakti, Shiva Shakti, Shiva Shakti Om. 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 Shiva Shakti, Shiva Shakti, Shiva Shakti Om.